One such issue that we feel, I think, important is it's one thing for women to be able to contest elections and come to power. And in the 2009 Lok Sabha elections, we saw that women candidates were more successful in being able to convert seats than male candidates.
Right.
So there's something to say on that. But once they come into parliament, not just women, parliamentarians, it's a huge, and parliament is not able to provide the kind of institutional mechanism for legislators to be able to do a good job with the kind of
important at this stage is that when women actually come to parliament, what kind of, women and men both, when they come to parliament, what kind of infrastructure is being provided by the parliament for them to have a roadmap to implement several important issues which needs to be implemented, but also in these conferences, all that is being discussed, how far it can help in making policies, because not to forget, India is doing remarkably well when we talk about grassroots democracy. Women have a huge share there, but they also said that when it comes to implementation, several policies, they're also termed as like what you call Sarpanch Pati, Mahila Pati. We'll raise these questions also of our panelists on the other side of this break. Stay tuned.
We transformed along with getting women into those institutions. And that's where we have failed. You look at the Panchayati Raj institution. I've done an analysis of that institution and it is gender blind. You can get 100% women in that institution. But as long as the people's psyche revolves around the fact that the panchayats were meant to resolve disputes which were the domain of men, you know, we've done very little in changing attitudes. We haven't even done an analysis of knowledge, attitudes, behavior and practices, which is a simple CAP analysis of people within these institutions.
And also we need to do a lot of analysis that even if they are, even as you rightly said, even if 100% women actually come in these panchayats, who are actually doing their work, because if you go in these villages, you know, what you generally hear is Sarpanch Pati, Mahila Pati. They are the people who are actually implementing the policies, doing work a lot. Also, you know, because what they say is that the ladies, they are not literate. So these are the larger issues: literacy, capacity building. If they can really, you know, do what they are assigned to do.
A UNDP report put it very beautifully. They said, as long as these women cannot match the opportunity to their capacities, if that link is not established, and I think that is where a lot of planning needs to be done. A lot of programs by the women's machinery could be implemented on these kinds of things to really provide the technical support to other ministries. For example, the Ministry of Panchayati Raj, to enable women to find their spaces and use those spaces effectively. What disturbs me also at times is that somehow those 1,000 women who have made it and done very well in the Panchayati Raj system, we are going on talking about those 1,000 women and forgetting that actually we have to talk about 1.8 lakh women who are there. And if you look at 20 years that have gone behind, how much have we been able to do? If we are still talking of those 1,000 women who did well.
Now, Ms. Nav, if we talk about the programs launched by the government, one such program was Sakshar Bharat, to actually give functional literacy to all these women, you know, to at least lead a happy life, you know, be in a position to teach basic things to their kids. And I was making a documentary when I visited many of these states. I came across many women, and the first thing they had to ask was that, you know, why do I go for these classes when this literacy campaign will not give me a job? So what is important is what you and I feel is also felt by others, but why is it that what we don't see is a mass movement? There's a lack of leadership also. We'll raise more questions of our panelists on the other side of this break. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the show, and today's public forum is on power and gender, what power means to women. In our program, call us on our toll-free number 1800115313. Now we are asking, what is the degree of power women enjoying today? Do we really see a paradigm shift since the early days of feminist articulation in India? Coming to you, Dr. Kala, as we were asking, the degree of power women is enjoying today, and what is it that is missing? Secondly, also we are now working on a women reservation bill. In the coming future, should we hope that this bill be passed from the parliament?
The Women's Reservation Bill, obviously topical to the issue, to sit for longer days, to be able to accomplish all the kind of legislative business that is put through it. The Women's Reservation Bill, if there was consensus, there needs to be a debate. MPs and parties need to decide what's going to be the fate of the bill, because everyone is watching that the bill is pending in one house and it's not moving any further, just like any other legislation. On the other part of, is it aspirational to be a parliamentarian for young folk? I think it's important to think about, we're talking about gender sensitive parliaments and presiding officers, but we need to catch them young in some ways. If we want, currently an aspiration to be a parliamentarian or politics is not something which is heard about.
But we have a good number of young parliamentarians, but the question is how they have contributed so far and how have they performed.
Well, I'm talking about people who are not in the system. If you look at the media, the way things have been working in parliament, there has been a lot of apathy on, confidence in